TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Welcome to another edition of the RF Video Shoot interview series. Today we're joined by a true superstar in the sport of professional wrestling, Rikishi. Thanks for being here today with us.
Hey, thank you for having me, Rob.
No
Rob,
problem.
right?
Yep, Rob.
All right.
My first question to you would be, what are some of your memories growing up in a wrestling family?
Getting beat up all the time, man. Kind of like just growing up in the shoes of Afa Sika, you know. Basically, I didn't even know I was going to be in this business of professional wrestling. And kind of following the careers of my uncles kind of got me interested in this business. So the rest was history, you know, just carrying the bags to the arenas and so forth. But we were basically like the guys that they practice on.
How soon did you know you wanted to be a wrestler? Was it pretty early on? Or?
Probably in my teens when I was probably about 15 to 16 years old. Again, it's kind of like when we were living with my uncles. We were, you know, in this business you got to go train. And we were actually the guys that they would try, you know, the new moves and so forth, if they came up with a new move. But they ended up being the grapplers of the business, you know.
Right. So did you get to travel the roads with those guys as a kid?
Many a times, man. I mean, we were raised up on the road with my uncles, you know. I think that, you know, kind of being raised up on the road kind of helped us in the business because we kind of learned off of that, you know, the what not to do and what to do and so forth, you know.
All right. Where were you based out of as a kid? Where did you grow up at? Allentown?
No, I was out in Cali.
California?
Yeah, we have a big family out there in California, San Francisco, California, but we're all up and down in Los Angeles, Carson City. Got to say a shout out to the Bay Area. And basically when I got out of high school in '86, I came up to visit my uncle. And kind of, you know, the rest took out from there.
Right. Who trained you? Obviously your uncle?
Yeah, Afa Sika.
Right.
When I came up here to visit my uncle, I stayed up here for, I don't know, a couple months or so. And I was trained, you know, with my uncle, Afa, who lived up here in the East Coast. Then when I went down to Pensacola, Florida, where Sika lives at, it was trained down there. I kind of like it down there because of the weather, you know, it kind of reminds me of home. You know?
All right. Was there anything about the business that you didn't like when you first got involved? I mean,
you know what, man? You know, when you're a kid at 15, 16 years old, you know, and it's like you don't know, you know what I mean? All you know is what you see on TV. And you know, I was a big fan of my uncles and Jimmy Snuka and those guys, Don Morocco, all the Island guys.
right.
You know, at that time I wanted to be like them, you know. So, you know, you don't really know until you kind of really get into the business, you know.
Right. How open was your family with you as far as the business? Were they pretty open about the business to you, or did they protect it?
Oh man, they taught me the business from the inside out. You know, back in the day there was kayfabe. If everybody knows what kayfabe is,
Right.
and if I even said anything that wrestling was fake or blah blah blah, you know, my uncles would send a forearm to my face. You know, they kind of let me know that in order to be in this business, you got to respect and love this business. And at the time, I didn't understand that was their bread and butter.
Right. So Afa and Sika were pretty much your mentors then, right?
Mentors, man. They're the one that kind of put it down for me to make me really understand what this business is about.
Is it true that you first wrestled your first match, I believe, in a battle royal?
Yeah. Man, you're good, Ruff. Yeah, I was in New Haven, Connecticut, matter of fact. My Uncle Afa used to live in Hampton, Connecticut. And it was one of those things, man, I wouldn't trade that in for the world, man, having my first match with some of the greats as the Road Warriors, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, Don Morocco. The list goes on. These are all all-time greats. Bruno Sammartino. And I was carrying my uncle's bags, you know, like I do. Just got through training that day and went down there to watch the show. And one of the guys didn't show up, you know, and of course, like my uncle, you know, he tells the promoters to those guys that, hey, you need somebody, this kid here can work. You know, everybody in our family can work. You know, so he basically threw me one of Charlie Fulton's tights. Everybody knows Charlie Fulton. He threw me one of his tights, and there I was. I got my ass kicked in there though because I was supposed to go out the third, but I got the itch and didn't go out when I was supposed to go out. So I went out the hard way.
Couple guys stiff you.
Yeah, you know it.
What are some of your early memories of Puerto Rico tours that you went on?
Starving.
Payoffs were bad?
Man, payoffs were bad. I mean, they, it was I guess it was a learning process again, because my uncle actually sent me and Samuel down there. We got down there, we became a tag team champs in 2 months. But I couldn't understand how the tag team champs were 2 months, but we were there for 2 months in the champs, but the champs were living on the street. The champs were, trying to make ends meet. I thought, well, once you win the straps, everything goes,
Right.
it starts to get fruitful. But once again, something that my uncle knew about, and I think that going to Puerto Rico helped me really appreciate the dollar.
What was it like to work with Carlos and those guys?
Carlos was good. I mean, good sometimes, bad sometimes when you're trying to get your payoff.
Huh.
It's always a struggle in the fight to try to get your payoff. And some of the things that, like, of course, you have the group Jovica. And, it's just the game, once again, the whole thing about the wrestling deal. You being a young kid and a no-name, trying to fight for your bread and butter, trying to get your cheese out there. And, all that happened, it helped me during the time of my career when I finally made it.
Was it a hostile environment? Because this is pretty much right after the time of the death of Bruiser Brody down there.
Man, yes, it was. I mean, this is it was scary. You going down to Puerto Rico. I really didn't want to go back down there no more. To me, there was no dollar worth my life. But, when we went down there, the recent memory is me, my brother, Tonga Kin, and Samu. When we walked down there, and we'd send, my brother Tonga Kin is a crazy out of the pack.
All right.
He's the nuts, the guy that's, he don't give a damn. And we wait for our payoff, and the deal was we'd get paid before we get into the ring. And this was one of their big shows. So somehow Jose was the one that's, I guess, you're supposed to go to for the payouts, blah, blah, blah.
Huh.
So we'd send TK over there. TK said, I got an idea. He went over there and he checked this guy. I mean, actually patted him down like the cops pat you down.
Right.
Patted him down, make sure he didn't have any knives or any weapons on him before he came to come talk to us. And it was crazy, man. So after that, we've never been down there no more, man. We kind of let TK do the dirty work for us to get our payoff.
That's great. Before you went to WWE, I think you did a couple tours of Mexico, down in Mexico, or Japan, was it?
Yeah.
UWA?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like working with Mil Mascaras? You got to work with him.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was cool. Again, it was a different vibe, different country. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I kind of like working the Mexican style because they're just so not real looking. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't really get to go in there and really brawl each other. They're so light. Sometimes you barely even feel them. You know what I mean? And you don't know how to kind of react or sell to something like that. Now, when you went to Japan, of course, that's a different story. Those boys, they don't play out there. They're in shape. They're ready to come out there and kick your ass for 25 minutes or more if they have to.
Was it hard to adjust to the style of Japanese wrestling?
No, because it was kind of up in our alley. You know what I mean? That's what we did. We were brawlers like that. We kind of like when people wrestle with us like that. But at the same time, when we found out when we brawled too much, we weren't getting that many bookings.
Who are some of the guys that you worked with over in Japan?
Muda a lot, because we knew Muda from NWA.
Right.
Man, you know what? Forgive me because I can't even remember these guys' names. They all sounded like to me. But Muda was one of them. It's another gentleman I can't even figure his name off the top of the head.
That's okay. What was it like working for New Japan? Did you like working for Anoa'i?
Yeah, man. Japanese company, man, they treat you at first class. You know what I mean? They make you, they appreciate. When you come into the arena, everything's good. The hotels, they the food and everything, just the hospitality. You know, it makes you almost feel like you one of the NFL players, the contracts that they got, you know, the NBA players. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, when you go to Japan, it's like they take it seriously. You know what I mean? It feels good. I always like going to work in Japan because just for the simple fact how they take care of the boys.
What was the travel like over there?
It was, some tours got rough. You know, some tours were easy. You know, the bus rides were long. Have 8, 10-hour bus rides, and then you know, sometimes you know, on the train was nice. You know what I mean? You get to ride on the train. Those bullet trains were pretty cool, but the bus rides were kind of long. You know, again, and it comes from, you know, the office, how they book the shows and so forth. I'm sure they try to make it as easy as possible for the guys, but you know, it is what it is. You know.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.